I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're happy to have you with us, and we encourage you always to visit our website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com. We have many upcoming initiatives. You can register online. You can take a look for opportunities to network and connect with other entrepreneurs, CEOs, and executives. Our first guest is someone you can find very interesting. She's doing phenomenal work, and I want you to please welcome Jacqueline St. Germain. She is here with us, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about the work she does, why it's so very important. She's with the UT Health Houston Behavioral Sciences. Hello, how are you, Jacqueline?
Hi, Dr. Laura. It's so nice to join you today, and thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
Well, we appreciate it. I know that you do so much, and it's just very important to continue to have these important conversations as we are ever so busy. And the work that you do is certainly something that I think is easily overlooked because we'll make excuses about not having time. Maybe there's some cultural taboos, etc. But it's very relevant, very important. So let's talk about what you do and what you'd like to share.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, well, tell us a little bit more about your work.
I work for UT Health Houston. I've always been in the mental health space. It's my passion. It's my love. I love helping people. I've been in a variety of different roles in my career. Currently at UT Health Houston, I am kind of the outreach person. I do a lot of public speaking, a lot of community engagement around mental health, kind of destigmatizing the work that we do and how we do it. So I love it.
So, women and depression has been something that you regularly speak about. What are some of those signs? What are some things that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, what I'd really like to talk about is being a professional woman struggling with depression. I think that resonates for me because I have been in a lot of roles in my career. And I think when we think about depression, Laura, we don't think about, um, you know, we don't think about high-powered professional women. When we think about a professional woman, we think about someone who is successful, and we're always really great at putting on those fantastic faces, and what we show to the community, what we show to the world is that bright, happy light. And we don't always realize that what's behind all of that is a personal struggle that may be going on internally. I know myself that was going on. I'd go to events, I'd go to things, and I was running companies, I was running hospitals, I was doing a lot of different things, and I go home and I was exhausted. I was just burnt out. I was exhausted, and my family was the first that saw that. And so I think stigma is such a powerful thing, and fear and shame is such a powerful thing. And it's really powerful for women that are professional because we don't want folks to know what's going on behind that scenes. So kind of stepping out in that and trying to make that okay for people to hear that story and be able to understand what that feels like is really important to me.
Jackie, so you mentioned something going home, feeling just tired, exhausted. But how can you know the difference between someone who's just low energy, they're tired, between understanding that it's depression?
Yeah, so, well, I knew for myself it was because I've struggled at different parts of my life with depression as an adolescent.
For you, as
Yes.
feeling exhausted. So you, throughout the day, you were going through the motions of putting
Mhm.
on a face of you weren't depressed, but by the end of the day, you couldn't do it any longer. So,
It was just, yeah, uh, Laura, I was exhausted. I was tired. I was kind of grouchy, if I'm being really clear here. Some of my family noticed the kind of that mood change, and I would sleep for long periods of time. My eating patterns changed. I started eating more, gaining weight, and I just didn't have that joy that I was showing to the rest of the world internally. I didn't feel that joy. And, we talk a lot about imposter syndrome and these days. And I definitely had that because, I had that threaded through there going, I'm just not good enough. Why did they recognize me for these awards? I'd stand up and accept and everything else. And internally, I wasn't accepting it. So,
Okay, so at some point you accepted that something was wrong. What
mhm.
do you recommend for someone in terms of that next step of feeling like, okay, it's not just that they're tired, there's something that's going on and they need to do something about it. What do you suggest they do next?
Well, it's very individualized. I guess if I sat down across from a woman who is professional and not as a professional, because I'm a clinical social worker, not as anything else, but just as a human that struggled, what I would say is get help. And being high functioning doesn't always mean you're healthy, right? Being a high performer doesn't necessarily, it's not synonymous with how you feel about yourself. And you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to like have a complete, physical, mental breakdown. At any juncture that you're not feeling good about who you are, go out, get the help you need, ask for the help, and accept the help. Um, and find somebody who's not intimidated by, your role. So that's even harder as a professional because sometimes you go to some clinicians and it's just not a great fit. Just keep trying until you get the right mix and the right person to help you. That's what I'd probably say.
It's important to realize that now with technology and other opportunities that you can even go outside of your circle, even outside of Houston, if you needed that
Mhm.
privacy or whatnot. So those are some options. Let's talk about the UT Health Houston and what you all are doing to help people who are suffering with depression. Anything specific you want to share about that?
Oh gosh, yeah, a lot. So when I joined UTL Houston about 4 years ago, one of the real things that appealed to me was the ability to, one, talk about stigma, talk through some of these disorders. And they were so laser focused on depression that it resonated for me. So, Dr. DiQuevedo, who I work with very regularly, is laser focused on depression. He's looking at the newest treatments, the newest, he calls it matched care. So, you don't have to need inpatient. Maybe you just need therapy. Maybe you just need some medication. Maybe you just need a little, kind of tune up, as he puts it. You're able to get that. And you're able to get that help when you need it, how you need it. And know that they're trying to stay up to date with the newest innovations, the newest techniques for therapy, for medication, for everything else for an individual. So that's what I love.
Well, again, there is help out there. Please look into it. Check with your insurance. That's a great place to start to see what resources are available. You can go online for information, but again, selecting the right person to assist you is a very customized, individualized. Sometimes the first time it's not the right person, but you can keep working with that. And Jackie, I'm so glad we visited. Keep doing the great work that you do. And I always enjoy seeing you out in the community, helping people and representing professional women, especially. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Laura.
I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. Thank you. Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So happy to be with our next guest. They're partners of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Of course, it is Toyota Center. With us today is the General Manager, Doug Hall. Welcome, Doug.
Good afternoon. How are you, Doctor?
Excellent. It's always great to partner with you guys. It's such a great partnership, and you all have so many phenomenal activities and a lot of exciting upcoming events. So, why don't you share with us a little bit about what we can see in 2026?
Well, we've got a great lineup in February and March, and hopefully the playoffs, basketball playoffs in April. So we're excited about that. So a lot of concerts. For the first time ever, we're hosting the NCAA Men's Regional in late March. So that's brand new to Toyota Center. I've been to Houston several times, but we're super excited about that, and we've got a great concert lineup as well.
Yeah. So tell us about the concerts. Who should we expect to see at Toyota Center?
Well, we've got Ricardo Arona coming up in March. Peso Pluma, who's making a return trip. Romeo Santos and Prince Royce, as well as Karen Leon, and then your favorite and mine, Mana, in November. So we're that's a great lineup, and those are all going to be fun.
Yeah, and it was great to see Karina Leon at the rodeo last year. I didn't realize how much he was in the general market and people knew who he was. I'm embarrassed to say, but I didn't know who he was until he came to the rodeo, and we had lots of people calling us asking if we had tickets, and they were non-Hispanics who just knew his music or whatnot. But he's pretty popular. But you got a great lineup, and I see we've got some UFC fight night fun stuff happening too, huh?
Yeah, UFC. I think it's been 3 years since they've been back here. A great value in terms of the show starts at 4 o'clock and probably won't be over till midnight, and so it's all day of action-packed fun. And put your gloves on and come on.
Yeah, and lots of popcorn and beer for sale for sure for that long period of time. So what else? Tell me what else. I see again basketball, right? NCAA is a big one.
Yep. NCAA, obviously the Rockets have always a busy schedule in March. And as we make the playoff push for April, that's going to be a lot of fun. Kevin Durant's been everything we hoped and more, and Alper and Şengün, both all-stars this year. So that's going to be awesome. So plenty of basketball. I think we've got 23 events in March. And so there's something for everybody. Come on down, and we love to stay busy, and we love to host people in our building.
So for more ticket information, where do they go?
ToyotaCenterTix.com or HoustonToyotaCenter.com. And, we can get you everything you need. And when in doubt, give me a call. If you can't figure that out, we'll take care of it that way.
Folks who are interested for their corporate, events, et cetera, there's suites opportunities to host special events there at Toyota Center. So give them a call, look up their website. And again, I want to thank you, Doug, for being such a great partner to the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We've got lots of events ourselves going on between now and the end of the year. So visit us at the website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com. Doug, you're the best. I hope to see you real soon, my friend.
Okay, great. Thank you for what y'all do. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I get excited when I hear this opportunity that I'm going to get to interview some dear friends who are doing phenomenal work in the greater Houston region. And they are some incredible people, always in the middle of every conversation that has to do with looking at anything regarding public affairs, et cetera. And they are none other than Jim Granado and Renee Cross, and they head up the Hobby School of Public Affairs. Jim is a dean and professor at the Hobby School of Public Affairs at the University of Houston. Go Cougs. And of course, my friend Renee Cross, she's the senior executive director and researcher. They have grown by leaps and bounds. They've got a phenomenal building now at the University of Houston, which houses them. And it's a thrill to have both of you on today. Welcome, and thanks for the partnership we have with you all.
Well, thank you. We're happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Both of you, Renee, so much to look at when you think of the things that you all can be involved in, and you've got to pick and choose. I know that you all do, but I want you to just take a minute and just appreciate how valuable you are to this region, the research that you all do, the impact it has on public policy. And we're just fortunate to have a relationship, and we're going to bring our friend back, Jim, to our data summit where he can share some of the great things that you all are researching and discovering. I'm going to stop there to say, Dean, tell us a little bit about, what you're excited about, the Hobby School of Public Affairs that you'd like to share with the audience.
It's just the growth. Our original mission, we created the school in 2015. The top metric in our business plan was student placement. And so our curriculum, everything is directed towards that. It's quant training, ethics training, writing, student practicums / internship programs and leadership. And what we've seen is just a phenomenal growth in the number of students that now are part of the school. We went from 9 when we started. We're over 300 now. And the projection is that we'll be over 500 in about 4 years. A mature school is typically about 1,000, so we expect by the early 2030s will be about 1,000. So, but in terms of what's going on, it used to be 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I knew everything was going on at the school, reports and everything. And usually I helped write them. Today, I have to keep up. There's usually one or two reports out every other week. I mean, Renee's polling with Mark Jones is just one item that we have that's going on all the time. We have the Center for Public Policy, which is working on, has created the Space City Panel, which is one of the only in the metropolitan area that tracks individuals over time. So it's like the gold standard when you do a survey because you're tracking the same people over time. That's a very valuable new component of the school. But in general, and Renee can fill in a lot that I'm missing. Our intern programs are exploding. There's so many projects we're doing on a variety of issues in the city and in the region, even the state.
Yes.
It's just hard to keep up at this point for me.
Well, and not only are you all doing a lot of work, but it's having significant impact. And that's why I'm going to punt to you, Renee. Let's talk about the real impact that you're having on policy and information daily.
While I definitely want to talk about the research aspect and the research impact, I have to start with the students. You know, our students are very well trained, and when they graduate, they are ready to hit the ground running, whether it's in government or the private sector. Because as Jim mentioned, we have these different components. We have quantitative training. We have training in ethics. We have training in leadership and public service through our internships and fellowships. So that alone makes a huge human impact in our community and in our state. In terms of the research, for example, Jim mentioned our surveys that Mark Jones and I do. Our statewide surveys are often used by the legislature during the sessions. So, you know, keep in mind that Texas does not have an initiative process. So our surveys are one way that our policymakers, whether they're in Austin or Houston or even DC, can tap into exactly what people want.
So give me an example of one of the things that you all, looked at, presented, and became something that became a legislative imperative. Is there one you think of?
Well, there's one actually a little closer to home. When we were discussing the bonds in Harris County to address some flooding mitigation,
Yes.
we were able to say, okay, would you be willing to spend this or this or this to get this or this or this? And that helped inform what went on the ballot.
And the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce used your analysis to present to our board. And at the end of it, we used your facts and your data to support the bond imperative, which ultimately passed. So that's a full circle. And it goes back to, Professor, the connectivity between the university, your program, Hispanic Chamber, business, the legislature. It's all connected, and you guys are the epicenter of so much of that. And the students not only are part of the process, but also become the ones that are leading these conversations. And so that has to be really fulfilling as a professor. And for you, Renee, to see, some of these people who've gone on to big jobs and take a little piece of that, hobby school with them, right?
Absolutely. And I never let them forget that it was the hobby school that got them started.
Yes, that's right. And make sure they throw that University of Houston sign up, because really I'm looking back at, my relationship with you guys and with you, Jim, is y'all were just 3 or 4 people. And as you said, the number of people involved, the growth, your board is just a true, absolute example of the right people on a team, hard work, and resiliency, and connecting the dots to get to where you all are in the 4th largest city. We need you all to provide us with data, facts, and figures. And that's why we had you out at our data summit. We look forward to having you all back again this year later, because we know that to drive the economy, to drive Houston, it cannot be anecdotal. We need facts. We need information. So what's on the horizon? What's something that you all are excited that you're working on or hope to work on this year?
At the top of the list in terms of research that has a local and state impact is certainly our Space City panel survey Jim had mentioned. Jim, do you want to talk a little bit about that real quick?
Little background. So we've been trying, we started the work on this in 2008
Yes.
because they are very expensive. So the idea came from when I worked at the National Science Foundation, and we had three big surveys in social sciences, and the one that was considered the best of the three surveys was the panel study in income dynamics, because you were able to track people over time and find out what's happened with their employment history, poverty, how long they're out of work before they got another job, how long it took to get the income they lost when they lost their job, how long got resilience, how long it took them to get back to where they were. And the medical profession uses these all the time. The Framingham study on cardiovascular diseases starts in the 40s. It's now the great grandchildren are on that survey. So what you're doing when you track the same people over time,
Yes.
it's gold, because you can have anybody who wants to be part of the survey just purchase a module and start to track what's happening given whatever issue they're concerned about. So surveys are really important. They're the telescope for the social and policy sciences, but in that ranking of what's the best type of survey, the panel is the best. The threat to a panel, though, is that people roll off. And so you have to struggle very hard to make sure you replace with people that are going to still be representative of the sample of the population you're looking at. But it's something we're very excited about. The other threat to it is that they're expensive, and we're working on a plan to keep it sustained over many, many, many years, because the longer it lasts, more valuable it becomes.
Absolutely. We know that so much of the research of universities is dependent on grants, philanthropy, individuals, and Houston's a great place to be positioned, and people truly respect the work that you all are doing individually, collectively with those students. And again, this is why we're so proud of our relationship with the Hobby School of Public Affairs and all the work that you all do. Renee and Jim, thank you so much for making time for today's interview, and we look forward to seeing you at the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Data Summit coming up later this year. Go Cougs.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy. Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we are in for a great interview here with some local talent who has been just very impressive. I was fortunate to hear her more than on one occasion. And again, if you've not followed her on social media, or if you've not had the opportunity to see her in person, I hope you get that opportunity. With us is no other than Priscilla Salisbury, and she's a soprano. She was born in Mexico, but raised here in Houston, Texas, and I'm just happy to have her on the show with us. Priscilla, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Laura. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. And one of the most recent opportunities I had to hear you was on a Saturday in Houston, Texas, downtown, at an event where we welcomed the governor of Nuevo León. I know you're from Monterrey, and so that must have been extra special for you to be able to do that in a really important time as we prep for what is going to be the international world stage of the World Cup. And certainly knowing that Mexico, Canada, and the United States will be hosting these matches. But do you still get excited when you're in rooms like that?
Yes.
Just excited?
Yes, most definitely, especially being Regia and, having our governor there. It was so wonderful. It feels like home. So, and especially the accent, the norteño accent that I grew up with. So it felt like home.
Well, excellent. And then I know recently, unfortunately, I was not able to join you, but a lot of your fans were sending me invitations to go and hear you. I think it was on Valentine's weekend. Tell me how that turned out.
Yes, that went really well. So on Valentine's weekend, on the 15th, I performed art songs and golden age Latin American songs for our community here in Houston. And it was called Noche de Amor. And I sung pieces like Bésame Mucho, Sabor a Mí. I even sang La Malagueña. And being my background as a professor, I gave a little bit of background about the mariachi and how it was popularized by Jorge Negrete, who was an opera singer. And so I gave my rendition of La Malagueña there as well. So it was a great performance experience for our community to really represent, our culture musically.
Well, absolutely, you're right. Tell me a little bit more about how you started singing and why soprano and how your career has evolved.
Yes. Well, I've always loved to sing since I was little. I was always in choirs. I was in the church choir. That's where I developed my talent there, where I was nurtured. And once I got to high school, and I was in choir, I started taking private voice lessons, and my parents were educators, and they said, as long as you get a degree in college, we support you. And I decided to go to U of H and I got my degree in music. Now I have several degrees in music. I have one in opera performance and I have one in sacred music. So I do both opera and sacred music.
So, what is it that you'd like to share with people who have this dream of being performers, musician, artists? It's can be a lonely, long road to success.
Yes, it's a lot of hard work. And what I would say is to hone in on your skills, but also by, getting an education, but also minoring in business, because essentially you have to be able to navigate the business aspect of the artistic world, and that's something that no one taught me. I had to learn all on my own, and I actually just started a foundation called Aria Arts Foundation, where my mission is to help young artists with the business aspect of their art. Right now I'm working on musicians, but I am opening it up to all fields of art.
Well, that's really very good advice. We see so many artists who don't have that acumen, that business acumen, which often leads them to unforeseen, bad, unintended consequences by a manager, etc. So I'm happy to hear that. So this is an unusual request, but I don't usually have the opportunity to ask people that we're interviewing if they could turn around and just hit the keys behind you.
Yeah. Would you like a little small concert? Is that what?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm asking for. Just a little, just give me 30 seconds of a little something there.
Sure, sure.
Okay, here we
Let me see. I
go.
don't, I don't have anything memorized, but I can do it a cappella.
There you go. Just whatever. Just do us just a little
Okay.
impromptu little snippet.
This is Bésame Mucho.
Okay, let's hear it.
Bésame, bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame mucho, que tengo miedo a perderte después.
Wow, Priscilla Salisbury. You've heard her here now on our television program. Make sure you find her, follow her on social media. Priscilla, congratulations. We have so few Latinas on the stage singing a soprano. What an honor, a privilege to have heard you live in person and now hear a little snippet on television. We wish you continued success and thank you for collaborating on today's interview featuring
Thank
your
you.
skill set. And see, that's what happens when you're on the stage. You've got to be ready, stay ready, and you were ready to sing for us. So thanks for all you do and keep making us proud.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.